Hey, I think I said I was going to make another video on D, on the flat picking in the key of D, because its home is way up on this other center than the ones we're used to doing. But before I do that, I think I mentioned that the Shane&Shane is who I got this pattern from, and I remember hearing it first, like consciously going, wow, they're doing something cool there. Was on, I think their song Psalm 118, I think it is. You think the Lord for he is good, his love endures forever. Anyways, so I'll just play the first part of that caught my attention a couple times through, and hopefully I don't do them in total injustice, but yeah. That was probably, I don't know, 30% good. That's what they would have done. But I remember thinking the clickety-clackety thing, like, it's like there's something really sweet, and he's hitting every single note, much cleaner than what I just did. But yeah, awesome stuff that they do. Check out some of their earlier stuff. I mean, Shane Bernard was like a phenomenal rhythm guitar player in flat picking and in strumming. And that might have been how he got a name for himself, I'm not sure. Definitely writes great songs. Sorry, that was not a knock on his songs, but just he caught my attention because I was like, wow, that guy. Anyways, enough about that. The key of D, remember I said before that most of your roots are happening down here on the low E and A strings. So the center being here is a nice midway point for your pattern to go back and forth, so that you have lots of room to play as much as possible up in the top two strings, the highest pitch strings, below the center or on the other side of the center. But when you're in the key of D, your root really can't be F sharp, or if you're in a D minor, your root can't be F sharp either. So you have to have the root on a D. Unfortunately, in the key of D, you're spending a lot of time in D. So the question might be, why not just leave your center up here on these two strings, the G and the B? And that might be a fair thing to say. So if we're in the key of G and we're playing, I leave the middle finger up a lot, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you can certainly do it. I don't know why I needed to make a whole video for that. I think just do what sounds good. I think if you're living only in that one, I think that might get a little too repetitive. So when you get down into the E minor, so if you happen to do like a E minor, D over F sharp, G run from the key of D, if I were to go to that run, E minor, I would probably move centers. D over F sharp, G. Same run. And then to an A. Still in the same center like we did in G. And then back to the D. I mean, and just kind of decide what you think sounds best. If you're mostly staying in the G notes or the D notes, then you'll probably want to keep your center up on the high, the D and the G, or sorry, the G and the B strings, these two here. And you'll only have one note or one string on the other side, above in pitch but below in location, to play around with. But if you think that sounds good, then go for it. yeah, whatever works for you. But I think if you're gonna live, like if a progression is kind of living in that low range, like a E, D over F, E minor, D over F sharp, G, A, D over F sharp, G, D over F sharp, G, A, B minor, you might want to stay with your center on the G and D strings. Those were all the roots were down pretty low. But if you're kind of going back and forth between G and D, or sorry, D being the 1 chord and the G, well then just kind of stick to your D center. But you're gonna probably have to, again, like just practice going from D center to the G center. And just keep trying to go back and forth with that. Until you kind of have it. So really, there you have it. I don't think I'm going to spend too much more time on that flat picking pattern. If you're in the class, I would think that that's a lot for you to kind of play around with. It covers a lot of different tempos. So maybe I'll pick this back up if we pick up another video, if we do another chord structure or something. But have a good one.